Hello, welcome to my channel Christian Faith and Fiction. My name's Lou. Today I want to share with you my reading, vlog and review for Death by Food Truck. That is by Joi Copeland, Cynthia Hickey, Linda Baten Johnson and Teresa Ives Lilly. This is 4 cosy culinary mysteries. They're 4 novellas and they are based around food trucks. I requested a copy of this in advance to review from NetGalley and Barbour Fiction were kind enough to let me have a copy. The reason I chose this one to look at was that I like cosy mysteries. I think it's going to be a Christian fiction one. Barbour usually publish Christian fiction and it just sounded like it was going to be a good fun sort of summer read for me. The description is Birch Tree, Maine is experiencing a rash of deaths, all mysteriously linked to food trucks that frequent the Birch Point Lake Park. Angel's new donut truck was doing great until deathly rumours started. Shanice thought she had customer support when taking over her grandpa's potato truck until one started complaining. Marisol's taco truck is a fixture in the park until linked to a food judge's death. May's noodle truck was her ticket to a new life until her ex-boyfriend threatened to take it away. Could competition between vendors have led to this murder and mayhem? So I'm going to be interested to see how this kind of works out and what it's like and whether I enjoy it or not. I think all of these authors are new to me, so it's going to be a new experience for me. I will update you when I get partway through how it's going. Hey, so I finished the first novella in this collection. It's called Unlucky Noodles by Joi Copeland. This is following a character called May who is running a noodle food truck with her best friend and her friend's husband, and they've all sort of moved to the area a year ago because May's ex-boyfriend is abusive. He was abusive, and then basically right at the beginning of the story he turns up at the truck and she's really stressed about it and he wants to get back together with her, but she really doesn't want to. She tries to tell him to go, but agrees to sort of meet up with him for one last time just to persuade him not to be there. But when she goes to meet up with him, he doesn't turn up, and then he turns up dead outside of her food truck, and she then becomes a main suspect. So that's how that kind of novella goes on. It's like a romantic suspense. This one has a very good, strong Christian element to it. I was really impressed with that. I thought that was great. The storyline, I give it 7 out of 10 for story enjoyment and a 3 out of 3 for Christian faith rating. It's kind of funny reading novellas because they're so short. You don't get quite so much in-depth character or in-depth, a lot of story, so you either get kind of one or the other. This one has a bit more on the character, a bit less on the plot. Yeah, it's quite a heavy subject dealing with domestic abuse, I guess. So that's a trigger warning for you, then be aware of that. As I said, the faith element was great in this one. Yeah, I enjoyed the story. Maybe the mystery could have been a bit more intricate, but there wasn't really space for that in the novella. These are really sort of one-hit wonders. If you can read 100 pages in one go, I can't, but you could read it in one day. I read it in a couple of days, or 2 or 3 days, I think. I finished the second novella in this collection. This is similar kind of setup to the first one, following Angel, who gets a new donut truck with her grandmother Ida, and there's some construction workers coming over every day getting donuts. She rather likes one of them called Jack, and then a guy from the construction team or something to do with that ends up dead in the back of her food truck, and he's obviously eaten a donut. So she becomes the number one suspect, and for various reasons Jack also becomes a suspect, and so they decide to set off and clear their names and prove who did it. against the sort of wishes of the police. This one, again, I'd say it's like romantic suspense with some mystery elements in it. Compared to the first one, this one has more of a twisty, turny kind of plot. There's more going on in the plot line, but less in terms of character development, and it doesn't have as much faith content in this one. So again, I give it 7 out of 10 for story enjoyment and 1 out of 3 for Christian faith content. So I finished the third novella in this collection. It's called Lethal Spuds, and it's by Linda Baten Johnson. This is following Shanice, who was a ICU nurse and got stressed out and burnt out. She's gone back to stay with her in her grandfather's town and help him out with his spud jacket potato business. And she finds out that he and his best friend for many years have been fighting, and his best friend has been accusing him of having, bad hygiene, having poor food that's making people sick, and she's trying to work out what's happened and why he's changed and why that he's sort of turned on her grandfather. It just doesn't seem to make sense to her. And then somebody ends up dying from eating a jacket potato, and so there's like a mystery investigation into that as well. So there's the mystery of what's going on between her grandfather and his best friend, what happened there, and then the mystery of the person who I'm not going to say who died, but the person who died. And then obviously Shanice and her grandfather become suspects. This one is much more of a whodunit kind of mystery. They went very, very light on the romance side, so it's much more focused on the mystery, and that gave them more space to create a stronger mystery, in my opinion. I think it had a slightly more convoluted plot to it. There were more suspects, and there was more time to put into the mystery, which I enjoyed a lot. There was some good faith content as well, so I would give this one 9 out of 10 for story enjoyment rating, and a 2.5 out of 3 for Christian faith content. I finished the final book in this compilation. It's called Taco Tragedy by Teresa, Ives, Lilly. This is following Marissa, who runs the taco truck, who she has inherited it from her grandmother, and her parents have died. Her grandmother's now died, and so she's left looking after her teenage brother. Jose is very interested in Sherlock Holmes, not so interested in school, so she's sort of trying to encourage him with that. She's working in her truck. She's got Elena working with her, who she just doesn't seem to get on with very well. But the truck's doing fairly well. She'd like to buy a piece of land by the lake, but that is not happening at the beginning of the story. There is a food competition where the judges are going to go around, and Marissa has won the competition, or their truck has won the competition in the last 3 years, and so everybody else is like, no, you're not going to win this time. She feels like there's a lot of bad opinions about her because of that. And then obviously at some point somebody dies, and so everybody is a suspect. This one is again like a whodunit mystery. I enjoyed the mystery. I did guess who it was going to be though, so not quite as satisfying as I would like, because I always like to guess right at the end rather than earlier on, but I did guess, and I liked the characters in this one. I liked that it was like a sister and brother team going and trying to solve the mystery. And I really liked the faith content in this one. There was a good amount of faith content throughout, and she's like a new Christian and trying to bring her faith into everything, so that was really great. I think I give this one for story enjoyment rating of 8 out of 10 and a faith content rating of 3 out of 3. So that's what I thought of all 4 of those stories in the compilation. I felt like it was really good fun to read small, short stories in the summertime, so I could kind of fit them in between my other reads and just pick them up and read them in a matter of a few hours, just a couple of days. For me, if you're a fast reader, you could easily read it in a day. It definitely was that kind of summer feel. I read some of them sitting on the beach, like in the garden. Just a fun, easy read to pick up. Because they are shorter novellas, I felt like sometimes they missed a little bit of something, because you have to sort of cut something out in order to make the word count, as it were, compared to having read like full-length novels. So they had to make choices. Some of them chose to focus more on the relationships or the character development, or some more on the mystery. So depends what you like, really. Some of them are more like romantic suspense, some more like a whodunit. There's quite a mixture in there. I was glad to see that they all had some faith content, some more than others, and that was really great. I think overall I'm going to give it 4 stars on Goodreads, so an 8 out of 10, and 2 out of 3 overall for faith content. Okay guys, if you read this book or if you read it, let me know what you think of it. Is this the sort of thing that you would pick up in the future? Thank you again to NetGalley and Barbour Fiction for letting me have a review copy. And I hope that you're having a great reading week, everybody. And until next time, God bless. Bye!